Hi, my name is Michael Murphy, and I'm a game design and computer science double major. My advisor is Professor Jonathan Blake, and the title of my project is Evolving Gameplay, Challenging Players as They Grow. So, a little bit of background and introduction into the project. My goal for this project was to create a system that keeps players challenged and engaged as they progress through the game. My plan to accomplish this was to create a system where game mechanics were adjusted based on a player's perceived skill level. In doing so, the game would be able to create an experience tailored toward each player individually that keeps them interested in playing over a longer period of time. To accomplish this, I wanted to use artificial intelligence to alter the overall design and feel of the game. So, a little bit of the methods and tools that I used for this project. This project was built entirely in Unity, which is a modern game engine widely used in the professional game industry. Many modern games today use Unity. So Unity as a engine requires coding and scripting, and so Unity can operate using either C# or JavaScript. For this project, I chose to do all the work in C#, mainly due to my own skill level and familiarity with the language. I've been using it for about 4 years, so I felt the most comfortable using this one. So the project was scoped using a 2D platformer. So what this means is essentially that I used a 2D platformer, a Mario, for example, style of game design to help me come up with and shape the mechanics in the game. For example, in this project, I used the speed of rockets that are coming at you and also the width of platforms that they spawned as the player was playing. This worked for me because I'm comfortable working in 2D platforms, and also it's a very clear and visual way to see exactly what's happening in real time. And so the difficulty adjustment for this game was done using AI. And the AI I opted to use for this project was a genetic algorithm. And so genetic algorithms work in a similar way to evolution, where the target results are allowed to survive. So the thing closer to what you want to happen is allowed to survive and continue to breed, which essentially creates a new population, a new series of items to breed again, based on the successful items from the previous generation. Think survival of the fittest is a great example of this. So, overall, I'm extremely happy with how this project turned out and the results that I got through my work. As you can see from the graphs on the left, as the player progresses, the game will measure things such as skill, and it will rebuild the level after each run to match their perceived skill. So as we can see from these graphs, it takes the platform width over the generations at a high skill level. The width of these platforms will decrease, or if the player is at a lower skill level, the width of these platforms will increase, making the experience easier for players. So as you can see from both of these graphs, the skill levels do adjust at a similar rate in terms of their incline or decline. It's not at a jump in one direction or just a slow snail crawl in the other. It's at a noticeable level, but it doesn't feel overwhelming for players as you play it. So, in my personal opinion, the difficulty increase was much more noticeable with the rockets compared to the platforms. Rockets were one of the two mechanics that I implemented to showcase this genetic algorithm growth. And the rockets I felt were more noticeable simply because of the speed that they moved. It was something that you felt compared to the platforms, which were stagnant and solid at the time of instantiation at the beginning of each generation. And something that I definitely have learned from this is that you don't need to meticulously build and plan out a whole level to get a compelling gameplay experience. This project really has proved to me that there's a lot of unexplored space in making sure that games can be tailored to the player, instead of just creating an easy or a hard difficulty level that is just generic and bland. So, in conclusion to this project, I think the potential applications are immense. It spans the whole game industry. There's not a single type of game that I think couldn't take advantage of something like this, where the experience is more honed in on the player themselves. And so mobile games are a market that I think would specifically love to have this type of technology more heavily implemented in what they do, because a big part of their business plan is increased player retention. And also, AI-based game design is another great avenue that this type of work could go down, simply because there's a lot of unexplored space. AI, for the most part, has been a little side piece. It's not a main core structure in gameplay, and I think that there is a lot of space left that could be used that we haven't even thought of yet.
And so what's next for this project, where I can see it going? I personally plan on continuing to use this technology and the knowledge that I've gained in my own personal projects. I think that there's a lot of space, and the implementation is now something that I have down pat. So I feel like I could begin implementing this in my own work and creating some really cool kind of new games, mixing things up, trying new things, using this technology and using the experience that I've gained while working on my thesis. Thank you.